Hello, welcome to Colosimo Kitchen here, where today we will continue our series of cooking with Colosimo sausage. My name is Paul Colosimo, and I'm going to show you how we make our pasta sauce mix. This is a recipe that my grandma had in her head, and like all good Italians, she could cook, but she could never tell you what it was. So my dad sat down with her one day and formulated her recipe. She had a pinch of this, a pinch of that, but we make it simple for you. We have Colosimo's pasta sauce mix, and it's all in here. And this is what gives it the tremendous flavor that you're going to see. In addition to the seasoning, of course, meat is very important. You have to cook a good sauce with meat, and we use, of course, beef short ribs, and we use Colosimo's mild Italian sausage. Now you can use hot Italian if you like it more spicy. We're going to use the mild Italian today. And then of course these are our meatballs, the family meatball here. And in a later series we'll show you how to make the meatballs too. That's a really great recipe. But it's a real simple start. We take the short ribs and we lay them out on a cutting board, because before we begin to cook them, we just want to season them a little bit with salt and pepper. And so we're going to just lightly season them. We will turn them, do the back side. Now, these are good meaty ribs, and that's what you want. When these cook in the sauce, they get really tender. Now, the easy thing about this sauce is that it's about 15 minutes of preparation time is all. The rest of the time is done in the oven. We cook it in the oven because it's very simple that way. So we've got our ribs ready to go, and we're going to move those over now to the stove top. So you pour the olive oil in, and it's about a couple of tablespoons, but like any good Italian, I just guesstimate. And you want to let that olive oil heat up, and then the other thing that you want in the olive oil is some garlic, because garlic's going to give it a nice flavor. So I got a clove of garlic here, and we're going to put that right into the olive oil. And you can hear that we're almost ready to go. We'll move that around a little bit, and then we'll put the short ribs in, and we'll get them going. We'll allow those to cook. I'm going to get a shot of these now. Now that the short ribs have been properly browned, we remove those from the pan, and you can see they're brown. We set those aside. And of course, the one thing that we want to do while we're doing this, we want to make sure our oven is turned on. I have it set for 350 degrees and it's preheating now. And you can set that oven at different temperatures depending on how long you want to cook the sauce. If you set it at 350, it's going to take about 4 hours. If it's something that you want to cook overnight, you could set it at a lower temperature, say 250, and allow it to cook all night, and it'll be ready in the morning for you. Or while you're at work, if you wanted to leave it at 225, 250, you could cook it at a lower temperature and it would be ready. The great thing about our sauce is that with time it gets better, of course. Most sauces are that way. Of course, the next ingredient here is the Colosimo's mild Italian sausage. We need to brown that as well. And so we'll put that in the pan next. Now you can buy our Italian sausage at most grocery stores, and if you're here in the West, you can buy it off of our website. Actually, you can buy it off our website anywhere in the country, colosimosausage.com. If you happen to live in the West, it's very convenient because we're in a lot of grocery stores out here. But this is one of the key ingredients, of course, in our sauce, is you've got to have a good Italian sausage to really make the sauce. So the great thing about the short ribs is that you get a bone in there too. And a bone, some good pork, you've got beef, that makes for the basis of a really good sauce. And we'll brown these for just until they're browned on all sides. Now that we've got the sausages about there, you know, we've got some of these Colosimo homemade meatballs here. And I like to, these were made in advance. So we'll just kind of add those to the mix here a little bit. And then we'll pull these sausages off and we'll set them aside as well. And we'll heat the meatballs up in here a little bit. And like I say, these meatballs are pre-cooked, so they don't take much. Now we'll set those on the plate as well. And so now we have our meat ready, it's set aside. And what we want to do now is begin to get the paste going. So I'm going to move this pan off of the oven. I'm going to set it there and let it cool just a bit. And our recipe calls for tomato paste. So we've got, in this particular recipe, we're going to put in 3 cans of paste. These are 12-ounce cans. The ratio is about 4 cups of water. A cup is 8 ounces, so it's about 12 ounces of paste and 30 ounces of water. I'm using the same pan that I cooked the short ribs and the sausage in, and that begins to season the product. So I'm going to put it back on the stovetop, and I'm going to begin to heat it a little bit prior to putting it in the oven. Next, and here is the key ingredient, is to get the right seasoning in. And again, it's for every 12-ounce can of paste, we're going to use 2 tablespoons of sauce mix. Now that I've got it mixed up, the paste, I want to put the ribs in. And you can put all the meat in at once, but I like to put the ribs in, short ribs, and I like to let them cook first. If I put the meatballs and the sausage in now, they might get a little too cooked. And over time, the sauce is going to thicken because some of this water is going to be cooked down, and it'll thicken up and it'll just get better and better now. We've got the makings of a good sauce here, very simply done. Minutes. And you can see, all told, from start to finish, this has only been about 15 minutes. And so it's really very simple. The oven, the stove, the sauce, it all cooks itself, really. So now that I think we've got a pretty good heat going in there, I'm going to open the oven. It's, like I say, preheated to 350. It's a little bit smoky. And in it goes. And we now can forget about it for a few hours. And we are done making the sauce for about 2 hours. We're going to leave it in there for about 2 hours, and then we're going to add the sausage and the meatballs, and we'll get back to it.